After spending a long time in the Eternal Trials, where he had encountered so many enemies and had also gained so many benefits from it, he was finally able to return to the human world. He was now coming out of Beishin's garden drinking his tea in peace. As soon as he arrived there, he immediately smelled the fragrant tea and the sound of the wind thinking about his garden. Finally, he was able to return. With Lin Moyo's appearance, Meng Anwen did not expect him to drink tea alone. When he saw Lin Moyo bowing in front of him, paying his respects, he told him to rest because his master Beishin was not there yet. He explained that his master had gone to the Hall of Heroes and had been hanging out there for a long time, where he would also return soon. After making his preparations, he would definitely return immediately to welcome Lin Moyo. Lin Moyo was just grateful and bowed while waiting for Beishin to return. Inside the Hall of Heroes, Beishin was found with Mu Xinghai, Mo Yun's grandfather, where both of them were just sitting there and watching over the souls of their beloved disciples and granddaughter. They remained in that place to ensure their safety. During all the time that Mo Yun and Lin Moyo were inside the Eternal Trial, only the two of them remained there. Lin Moyo's soul imprint was stronger compared to when he first entered the Eternal Trials, which meant that his level had greatly increased at that time, and it was the same as Mo Yun's. The two of them didn't feel any danger from the soul imprints of the two, so their faces were calm, but Beishin suddenly laughed and said that the boy was coming back, so he started to tell Xinghai that he would be the first to return and leave that place. When Lin Moyo returned to Beishin's, he could feel his soul imprint changing, which Beishin was accurately taking. Moyo hadn't returned yet, but Xinghai felt that there was no danger to his granddaughter life, so he started to stand up and said that Beishin would accompany him when he returned. He asks her if he can go there together because he also wants to see Beishin's student and see in person how talented he is. This old man is also becoming more interested in Lin Moyo, and since Beishin's standards are so high, it means that a disciple who is accepted by a professional like him, who is considered a god of mankind, must be a true genius who is unmatched by others. As for the level of being a genius, this can only be known by watching, so this old man wants to see it in person to compare and see who is stronger between the two of them and his granddaughter. When Beishin hears this, he immediately laughs and agrees to go together to return. He wants to show that old man and himself what Lin Moyo has been able to gain from the Eternal Trials. It is explained that in the entire world of mankind, there are only a few people who are given the right to enter the entire time that Lin Moyo is inside the Eternal Trials. Beishin and Mu Xinghai are the only two people who are inside it, and no one else has been able to enter. The gate of the Hall of Heroes was broken after the two of them left, and the entire place began to become quiet again. After a few minutes, Beishin and Mu Xinghai were able to return to Beishin's courtyard. Lin Moyo was surprised by this and did not expect the return of these two. Lin Moyo wondered who Beishin was with when he returned because this old man was wielding his own powerful aura as well as his companion Black Horse that was enveloped in strange energy. He knew what the Holy Thunder Beast was next to him, so he immediately guessed that it might be Moyon's grandfather, the legendary summoner of humanity, Mu Xinghai. He continued to marvel at the presence of that old man, but suddenly his master spoke, smiling happily after seeing his disciple get away without much damage. He just told him that it seemed like he was able to reach level 35 so quickly. He praised him for what he did because he had raised his level so quickly. The old man was not enough Lin Moyo to greet his master as well as his companion Xinghai. When Xinghai heard the greeting from Lin Moyo, he was just surprised and did not expect that he seemed to know him, so he just asked how he knew him because they had not seen each other before. Lin Moyo just smiled and replied saying that he and Moyon were the same in some things and their similarities were too close, so Lin Moyo was just guessing and was confident that he was right. Apart from this, Lin Moyo also explained that there probably were no other summoners who could walk together and be with their master except for someone like Xinghai, who was also a legend of a person. When the old man heard Lin Moyo's answer, he just laughed, and because he did not expect this boy to immediately guess his person, he just praised him because he had the ability to see the truth. Despite all this, it was quite easy for Lin Moyo to accept all of this, and the key to this was that Lin Moyo saw Xinghai's companion horse, which was very rare to catch something like this one that Mo Yun had. Even though the old man was praising Lin Moyo, he could only think to himself that Lin Moyo was only level 35 and his profession was quite special. He admitted it, but he was still very surprised as to why someone like Beishin, who rarely accepted his own disciple, would value him so much. He looked Lin Moyo up and down and couldn't see anything special about him in the end. The three old men were now sitting in front of Lin Moyo, and now the four of them started talking about all of Lin Moyo's experiences. His master was asking him directly because he wanted to know what his experiences were in the eternal trial that time and if he was still able to get good opportunities. Lin Moyo began to speak and recount his experience inside the eternal trials, where he first said that as soon as he entered it, he immediately buried the soul-devouring insect king. He informed them how he finished it off and killed it. He then told the information about his fight with the soul-devouring mother, where he defeated it by using his immense strength. Next came the great earth centipede, which despite its huge body, he still managed to defeat. After a few minutes of Lin Moyo's story, it ended and the two elders couldn't believe the stories they were hearing. It seemed that they still didn't want to believe Lin Moyo's stories because it didn't seem very plausible since he said that he was able to kill the soul-devouring mother and also the great earth centipede. The two elders were just sipping their tea to calm themselves down and remove the shock from their faces. But all of this was too unbelievable, so they asked Lin Moyo if everything he told them was true. Lin Moyo was just seriously facing and nodding to answer that all the information he had informed them was true. From the information that the two elders received, Bai Shen and Xinghai could no longer hide their amazement and shock where these two just looked at each other. And they could see in each other's eyes that everything was unbelievable and impossible. There was a deep silence when the four of them saw each other, but it was only broken when Meng Anwen suddenly laughed very loudly. When Meng Anwen suddenly laughed, Lin Moyo could no longer understand what this old man was laughing at. As his laughter grew louder, the shame that Bai Shen and Xinghai felt also worsened. These two were ashamed again and fell silent and looked down. Lin Moyo couldn't understand what was happening and felt that there might be a story behind this laughter. While trying to hold back his laughter to tell what had happened, Meng Anwen was able to calm herself down and began to tell that in the past, Bai Shen and Mu Xinghai led a group of professionals to fight the soul-devouring mother. But as a result, they were unable to find and fight the soul-devouring king because they were forced to retreat by the soul-devouring king who they had not even killed. The two didn't give up yet, and because they didn't want to go home without doing anything within the eternal trials, these two set out to find the great earth centipede again. But they were almost poisoned to death. Meng Anwen continued to laugh while saying that the condition of those two upon their return was very pitiful and embarrassing. As Meng Anwen continued to laugh uncontrollably, Bai Shen began to speak and said that Meng Anwen was the same as before because they invited him and called him to join them, but she refused. Other than that, he only laughed at them when they returned where their situation was pitiful. Meng Anwen just replied and said that she already knew that she would not be able to fight those two powerful bosses, that's why he didn't feel any shame in not joining them. These two were embarrassed again because those two battles against the soul-devouring king and great earth centipede were just some of Bai Shen's defeats in his life, and if he couldn't get rid of that shame, it wouldn't be good for his story. Bai Shen always teased the two of them with these stories from the past. Xinghai was also drawn into this story because that time Bai Shen had just convinced him to join in fighting the boss, but they didn't win. Because of this, Bai Shen started talking and told Meng Anwen to forget and not mention those things because it had been a long time since it happened. Xinghai didn't like this, telling Meng Anwen that he was overdoing her jokes. Hearing these stories from Meng Anwen, Lin Moyo was just amazed at herself and surprised while wondering if it was really that difficult because her master had never been able to defeat those two bosses. The two of them started to get serious and asked Lin Moyo what rewards were given for killing the soul-devouring mother and the soul-devouring king. Lin Moyo didn't lie anymore and said that there were 3 important dark things that he had obtained: the soul crystals, soul gems, and the soul devour insect egg. Lin Moyo continued his story where he and Moyon managed to meet where they completed the Primordial Rune and continued to have it as a unity in their bodies. Moyon managed to obtain the Primordial Rune, but when his own fusion was about to finish, the abyssal demons suddenly arrived and attacked them, but they were able to win and fight them off. In addition to this, the two of them managed to go inside the god's chosen realm, where they were able to navigate the floating rocks until they reached their border, while Lin Moyo managed to reach the very end of it. The 3 of them couldn't believe all the stories they were hearing and were just stunned. Mu Xinghai, who learned about his father's experience, was silent, and Meng Anwen, who was the calmest of the 3 of them, opened her eyes in shock. All 3 of them had one thought because none of them could have expected that Lin Moyo would go through so much in just 2 months of staying inside the eternal trials. The way he told his stories calmly would surprise anyone for so long, and if he added to it, it seemed that even the god-level powerhouses who had already been through so much were scared. Lin Moyo started to take out the earth gems and heart of the earth. Lin Moyo told the story that these were the ones he got from the Heart of Earth dungeon. There were so many of them that it filled the entire table, and the elders present couldn't believe it. Meng Anwen could only say that with the help of those many items, it would be possible for the human camp to once again give itself the opportunity to have earths that would surely strengthen their strength. Bai Shen agreed with this and said that it had been so many years since humanity had last created and had an Earth Night, so this would be a very important event in history. Lin Moyo returned these items to his storage space as Meng Anwen confronted him and praised him for his great contribution to humanity. He made him promise that he would reward him later. Despite everything Lin Moyo has gone through and all that he has been able to achieve and obtain very important resources for the camp of humanity, he refuses this reward from him and says that it is what he should have done and this is his contribution to humanity. Next, Lin Moyo takes out the Dragon King certificate that Lin Moyo managed to obtain from the Dragon Palace dungeon. Before finally entering that dungeon, he had to face many demon kings who tried to kill him, but they did nothing to succeed. Lin Moyo explains that it seems that the Dragon King certificate can be used to enter the Dragon King Palace dungeon located in the lower layer of the Eternal Trials. Lin Moyo ends his speech there and hides his experience within the core area, especially about the ancient Earth Dragon, because he feels that it seems that he does not need to talk about it anymore. Besides, he still felt a little ashamed that he was chased and almost killed by the ancient Lewin, so he understood Bai Shen's feeling of shame. After Lin Moyo said this, his master told him that only a few people were able to obtain the Dragon King certificate and that it was located in the lower layer, just like Lin Moyo had predicted. He simply told Lin Moyo that he would only know the details about that dungeon once he got there, and that he would not talk about it anymore. Suddenly, Meng Anwen interrupted Bai Shen's words while informing Lin Moyo that his master could not help him with this matter because that man had not yet been inside the Dragon King Palace. Meng Anwen broke the silence between the 4 of them again, only to laugh at Bai Shen for yet another humiliation he had suffered. Bai Shen did nothing and remained silent while accepting all these insults that were being directed at his disciple. Lin Moyo just watched the interaction of his friends where he just smiled and brought out a lot of dragon crystals in front of them while still blocking Lin Moyo. He showed them to all of them and explained that that was what was left from all of their used ones. When the three saw this, they just backed away in shock. They stood there while looking at the many dragon crystals in front of them that you wouldn't believe how many were there, which made Beishin Lin Moyo ask how many times he had finished and cleared the Dragon Palace dungeon. He just wondered if he had exhausted the contents of the dungeon. Because of the shock of the three, they were stunned after they stood up. Beishin began to remember the efforts Lin Moyo had made in the Tyrant Desert dungeon to continuously clear it, and considering the amount of time Lin Moyo had spent in the Eternal Trials, it seemed possible that this would happen. Lin Moyo had just told him that most of the dragon crystals that were now in their proper state came from the abyssal demons and dragon professionals he had killed. Beishin had not paid attention to Lin Moyo's rank when he arrived, but now he noticed what his rank was on his military badge, which was a 1-star colonel. When he saw Lin Moyo's rank, he couldn't believe it because after reaching the rank of a colonel, a professional would need 1,000,000 military merit just to increase it by 1 star. His disciple was now becoming a rank, and he could only wonder how many abyssal demons and dragon professionals he could kill in the eternal trial to become a 1-star colonel. Mu Xinghai seemed to notice this and was just taking a step back and couldn't believe what he was seeing because there was no record of a level 35 1-star colonel in history. Meng Anwen added that being level 35 was unbelievable because he too had never seen a 1-star colonel even at level 45, which was why Lin Moyo's current rank was so unbelievable. Everyone present knew that it wasn't easy to reach the rank of 1-star colonel because it was a very difficult job and almost all 1-star colonels were considered demon killers. Within the army, the status of being a 1-star colonel was considered not low, and if Lin Moyo were to join the army, he could have thousands of people to lead. From everything he heard, Xinghai started to turn away from the table while saying that it was too boring now, so he excused himself and left the three of them. Bai Shen looked at him and told him to wait a little longer because Lin Moyo had not finished all the information and reports he had given them. It seemed that this old man did not want to hear about Lin Moyo's achievements in the Eternal Trials because it would make his granddaughter look bad. He was just annoyed by Bai Shen's words and told him to just let him go because he was already worried about his granddaughter. He wanted to go back inside the Hall of Heroes to check on Mo Yun's condition and ensure his safety inside. The three of them just let Xinghai leave. When they felt that he was back inside the Hall of Heroes, Bai Shen started to get serious and looked at Lin Moyo while telling him that now that the old man was gone, he could tell the two of them what really happened inside the Eternal Trials. He seriously asked Lin Moyo what level of divine power he was able to obtain when he entered the God's chosen secret realm. He knew that the test given by the God's chosen secret realm would be different every time anyone entered it. But no matter what test they faced, the level of divine power that could be obtained in the end would still be the same. Meng Anwen just interrupted and told Bai Shen that he didn't need to ask about it anymore because Lin Moyo was definitely able to obtain a higher level. Bai Shen simply replied and told him that isn't it normal for those younger than him to be better, that's why he should have achieved higher here. In the past, Bai Shen had managed to raise his power of divinity to level 5 within the God's chosen secret realm, where he broke the highest record of all mankind and was now passing it on as a good story. As he remembered everything that had happened to Lin Moyo, he only thought that the divine cauldron was too mysterious, that's why he didn't seem to tell his master about it, and instead just answered his question and whispered that he was able to reach level 30 power of divinity. Hearing this, Bai Shen was a bit disappointed because it seemed that Lin Moyo could only achieve level 3 power of divinity, which was lower than him. He just continued to drink his tea, but Bai Shen suddenly understood something, and it seemed that he didn't hear his disciple properly. He was surprised by what he was seeing and stood up. He slammed the table and asked him again what level he was able to reach inside the god's chosen secret realm. Lin Moyo calmly replied and said that he was able to reach level 30. Since he didn't know anything about what he was able to do, Bai Shen was just wondering how this was possible because he too was only able to reach level 5 before, but he was able to match the highest record of humanity. Meng Anwen was on the sidelines and laughed at Bai Shen's reaction. Just like he had said before, it seemed like Lin Moyo had actually reached a higher level from inside the god's chosen secret realm. Lin Moyo hesitated to say it and shook his head before he continued to inform his master that in reality he was able to reach even higher and was actually at level 35. His master about the divine cauldron definitely didn't understand why it was rising even higher now. His master was silent from everything he heard and knew that his disciple was experiencing an abnormal event today because this had never happened before in history. Since he also had no idea about everything that had happened to him, it was understandable that he did not know that Lin Moyo was capable of increasing his power of divinity when he leveled up. He could only hold his forehead while nodding and telling Lin Moyo that he could go back and rest for now. Even though he hoped that Lin Moyo would be able to surpass him, the way he surpassed him was too intense. He wanted Lin Moyo to be sent away first so that there would be some peace within his yard. Lin Moyo obediently left and immediately carried out the order from his master. He teleported away from the garden while the two elders continued to talk. Bai Shen confronts Meng Anwen again while insisting that his disciple is now better than his guru, so he should be happy. Meng Anwen notices that Bai Shen doesn't seem to be feeling this way, so he asks him if he's being hurt by this. While he sees that Bai Shen isn't too happy, Meng Anwen is happy. He smiles in front of him while saying that her face seems to be saying something different, which is the opposite of what she says that he's happy with him disciple's achievements. Bai Shen just answers, still showing a little annoyance, and tells Meng Anwen to stop talking because she doesn't know anything. He just explains that because Lin Moyo is so strong, he doesn't know what kind of training he should give his disciple. Meng Anwen continued to sip tea while telling Bai Shen that what he needed to do now was simple, and to just let him follow the same path he had taken in the past where he had faced so many dangers alone to grow stronger. He also advised Bai Shen to just let it go and see how far he could travel on his own path. Hearing this, Bai Shen was stunned and wondered if this meant that he should just watch from the sidelines and see what he could achieve with his own strength. As Lin Moyo left, he headed straight to Fortress No, one via the teleportation array. He wanted to conquer the military skills training ground of Fortress No, one, and because of the skills he had acquired, he recently needed to practice and level up his skills. Even though he was practicing in his free time, he still hadn't gotten very good at them and was currently only at level 10. Of his skills, only Poison Starring and Corpse Explosion were the only ones he hadn't been able to level up. He knew that the nature of his profession meant that the higher his level, the more difficult it would be for him to level up his skills, so it was better to practice while it was still early until he got tired. Lin Moyo went inside the skills training facility of Fortress No, one where he continued to practice his Poison Starring until he got tired. He was sweating and a little out of breath from his constant use of his skill, but since he was able to obtain the power of divinity, his fatigue was getting better very quickly. Finally, he was able to succeed and level up his Poison Starring to match his current level of level 35. This skill of his now was able to cause poison damage within a 35-meter area that could cause damage equivalent to 350 damage per second that lasted for 35 seconds. Now that he was done with what he was doing, he only remembered that his contribution points had now reached 6,000, and now he could easily join the Creation Academy. All his hard work was now paying off, and he would definitely be accepted here. He could only think that it seemed like if he succeeded in entering the Creation Academy, he would be able to fight alongside his older brother in the future. Lin Moyo was just coming out of his training and saw a towering red light coming from outside. He and the other professionals were just wondering about the strange event in front of them. Lin Moyo couldn't understand why a teleportation array appeared in that area, so they were immediately alerted by the strong Beidanga. The fortress is now being closed, and its war mode is being activated. All the soldiers inside the fortress were assigned one by one, and all those inside stopped where even those who came from inside their rooms were brought out. Suddenly, an order came out informing them that all low-level professionals below level 40 must remain inside the fortress, and they were not allowed to leave and only remain ready to fight. High-level professionals above level 14, slightly below level 60 must go to Fortress No. 6 using the military teleportation array. High-level professionals above level 60 must go to Fortress No. 7 using the military teleportation array. The duty order was for the top professionals who were ordered to go to Fortress No. 8 using the assigned teleportation array. The professionals who were there immediately went to their assigned stations and they followed the orders. When a war begins, everyone within the Shangxia Empire can become a soldier and participate in the war. As soon as Lin Moyo heard these orders, he immediately went to the teleportation array and told the guard to send him to Fortress No. 6. But he was immediately stopped and told that low-level professionals like him could not leave and should only stay and guard Fortress No. 1. Even so, Lin Moyo knew that he could not stay in Fortress No. 1 because even though he was only level 35, his power would be wasted if he stayed there. The guard continued to warn him that he should leave Lin Moyo alone because his level was low, and if he went to a higher level of battle, he would definitely die. As soon as this notification comes in the entire fort, RMC moves forward to go to number 6. Although he is still below level 40, so the guard asks him to stay in fort number 1. But then Lin Moyo shows him his badge and asks if I am eligible to go there through this. As soon as the guard sees this, he gets very nervous because this badge of Lin Moyo is on 1 star, which is a very big post. The guard has now understood by seeing this colonel badge of RMC that he is not an ordinary person. So he respectfully bows to Lin Moyo and says that according to the rule, you are eligible to go to any fort. After this, Lin Moyo immediately orders to send him to Fort 6, on hearing which the guard says okay and allows Lin Moyo to go there. Then after this, we directly see the fortress number 6, where after this notification many professionals have come into action and one by one they are taking their positions. In this we see a person at the top, who is at level 63, and he is Legion Overloaded, which is on a 3-star colonel. His name is Nai-jun, who is looking at the view below very calmly. Then an old man who is a level 53 formation master, and whose name is Jang Kaiyan comes to him and seriously asks Nai-jun whether he knows which Demon King's army this is. Nai-jun is serious after listening to this old man. Looking at the Demon King army, he says that I have not yet found out which army it is. Then this old man tells Nai-jun to remain calm, because even though this enemy is a bit mysterious, but this old man has activated the formation in the whole city, due to which he feels that there will not be much loss. While both of them are talking, Lin Moyo comes from behind them, and as soon as they see Lin Moyo, they directly ask him where this young man is wandering, and then Nai-jun's eyes fall on Lin Moyo's badge. And on seeing him, he is very surprised that he is a 1-star colonel. Lin Moyo is still surprising everyone, because how can someone so young and secondly be a 1-star colonel despite being at level 35? However, this old man has recognized Lin Moyo, because he has seen Lin Moyo during awakening, and seeing Lin Moyo, he says in surprise that he is also here. As soon as Nai-jun hears this from the mouth of this old man, he asks him, "Do you know him?" Then Jang Kaiyan starts telling about RMC that we met once, and I was the one who presided over the job transfer ceremony of this young boy. and also tells that I never expected that he will reach level 35 in just a few months, and his upgrade speed is very fast. As soon as Naijun hears this, he gets very nervous and looking at Lin Moyo in confusion. He says, "What are you saying?" He has changed his job just a few months ago, and he is the new professional of this year. While saying this, many things are going on in Naijun's mind, as if he was thinking about RMC, that how is it possible that in just a few months he got promoted to a star colonel. Seeing Naijun so shocked, Jang tells him another surprising thing. This little guy is not an ordinary guy. He is also the national champion of this year. As soon as Naijun hears this, he becomes even more panicked. Then he remembers that not long ago, a second lieutenant was born, the youngest in human history. Can it be him? After listening to all this, Jang thinks that I will be surprised what kind of surprise this boy will give us when this war starts. As soon as this conversation ends, Naijun looks down and sees that all the human professionals are standing below. He lifts his sword and encourages everyone, saying that everyone should turn on the Legion mode. Everyone can join the Legion. At this time, 3 people are standing at the highest point of the fort. First among them is Legion Commander Naijun, whose level is 63, and he is Legion Overload. Then Jang Kaian, who is a level 53 Formation Master. After this, RMC is a level 35 Necromancer. All 3 are standing at the top of the fort and are encouraging people. After this, the Legion is formed and Naijun is its commander. All the military merits will be collected together, and after the war the merits will be distributed. And now all the companions are teammates, and due to the formation of the Legion, no one's skill will cause accidental injury. Then after this, the last message comes for everyone that the army has been completely completed. If you people run away from your enemy out of fear and do not fight him, then you will be punished later. As soon as everything is completed, and as soon as these people see the level of Lin Moyo, people start talking among themselves. They were not able to understand who this Deputy Legion Leader is, and how can he become Deputy Legion Leader after being at level 35. Then someone says, "Is this level 35 person not sending himself to the mouth of death?" Then someone else says, "Does this seem like our relative who is thinking of taking advantage of our military merit by coming here?" These people were talking to each other like this when one of them shouted and said, "I remembered something some time back in the World Professional Championship. There was a person named Lin Moyo who broke the challenge record of the tournament." Then someone else also said, "Yes, I also remember. That person's name was definitely Lin Moyo. But at that time he was at level 27. How did he raise his level so quickly?" After this, many people accept the ability of RMC, that if such things are there, then he must be a genius. But some people are waiting for the battle in which they will see the fight of Lin Moyo to see how he fights. Then after this there is a loud roar in that area. This was the time of the arrival of the monsters who had reached near the fort, and their smell had spread in the entire area. As soon as Lin Moyo feels this smell, he knows it to be familiar, because this is not the smell of any devil of the abyss, but the smell of the people of the Dragon Clan. Then we see that the people of the Dragon Clan are flying in the sky in that entire area and coming towards the fort. Their number is very large, and they have surrounded the whole sky, and all of them have weapons in their hands. As soon as Jang sees all these in the sky, he gets very scared and fearfully says that this is the sub-dragon army of the Dragon Clan. Jang is surprised to see them because they were defeated and thrown out of the Yuan battlefield 1,000 years ago. So no one expected that the Dragon Clan had actually found a way to come back here. However, Naijun has come into a fighting position, because whether it is dragons or demons, all of them are enemies of the human race. At this time, the dragon's siege ship is also flying in the sky. There are only people of the Dragon Clan all around the sky. They have come here with big weapons and big ships. Seeing all of them, Naijun quickly increases the legion. Due to this, the humans present there get buffs. Everyone's strength, agility, every stat point has increased due to this. Seeing all this, Lin Moyo becomes very happy because now the time has come for him to collect military merit points again. At that moment, Zhang standing nearby releases his energy in the big eye present there and activates the formation in the whole area. As soon as Zhang's energy goes into that big eye, an energy comes out from inside it which collides with the ship of the Dragon Clan. When the energy coming out of that eye goes to hit the ship, at the same time an energy beam also comes out from the ship and both the energies collide with each other. There is dust there for some time, but as soon as the dust clears, we see that nothing happened to the Dragon Clan ship. Seeing this, Zhang says that this attack failed. However, he has not accepted defeat yet because he has activated a formation around him and he is ready for one of his highlight moves. Zhang quickly gets ready for his next attack. However, while he is preparing for his next move, we can see sweat on his face, as this is probably a very powerful attack, and as soon as the attack is ready, lightning starts crackling from the entire sky, which forms an energy type and starts moving fast to hit those dragons. However, before this lightning bolt hits these dragons, a protection shield comes around them which protects all of them from this lightning. Naijun, who is watching this attack, quickly tells Zhang to notice one thing, that look carefully that warship is absorbing your power. Because this siege warship of Dragon Clan combines both attack and defense, and looking at it, it seems that it is really a very powerful ship. Now that Zhang has done this attack, he does not want to take it back, so he has found his next attack in this attack as well. He first wants to make it absorb more power, and then as soon as this ship starts attacking, Zhang will have a chance after that. And exactly what Zhang had thought happened. As soon as the ship absorbed the power, it immediately launched an energy attack towards the fort. This attack was very powerful, and its pressure could be felt by the people present there. And as soon as this attack happened, we see that Zhang has again activated his formation ability, and immediately he also makes a powerful attack towards this ship. This attack was so powerful that it broke the defense shield around the ship and also its defense tools. With Zhang successfully firing his lightning from the formation, it was able to completely break the extremely strong barrier of the Dragon Clan's Sage ship, after which they exchanged attacks, and he shattered the magic crystal of their ship. The barrier that the dragon ship always protected was broken, and the lightning that came from the human camp was able to pierce it and hit the dragon ship, causing severe damage. Also, because of the breakage of its magic crystal, the ship could no longer handle the flow of energy that caused it to explode. The dragon professionals near the ship were all affected and were affected by the powerful explosion. They began to fly away from their ship to save themselves as they watched their most powerful weapon begin to fall from the sky. It just went to the ground and they could no longer take advantage of it. Only a few parts of it were left to explode. As he did so, Zhang Chen began to celebrate, laughing at his victory over the opponents, especially since he was the one who was able to win the exchange between the two camps. Despite their strong opponents, he was able to defeat them in a game of puzzles, and in the end he was able to win. As he said, when the dragon ship attacks, only then will he have a chance to defeat his opponent. Even though it was his first time fighting a dragon ship, he was still able to find his opponent's weaknesses and knock them out. That's what it takes to be a good formation master, where you need to find your opponent's weaknesses in the small details that he sees. Despite his victory, he knew that everything didn't end there, and he still paid a lot to knock out the dragon ship. The fortress Anima's shield was Nasus era and could not be easily restored and repaired, leaving them with no protection at this time from the approaching enemies. He had to use the formation inside the city only as a last resort because otherwise they would surely be destroyed. This was the moment they had been waiting for, where the Shengxia army and the evil dragon army would finally meet. The fortress Anima's shield was Nasus era and could not be easily restored and repaired, leaving them with no protection at this time from the approaching enemies. He had to use the formation inside the city only as a last resort because otherwise they would surely be destroyed. This was the moment they had been waiting for, where the Shanxia army and the evil dragon army would finally meet. To give his side an advantage, especially with their small victory, Zhang reactivated the formation and used its remaining power. He used a skill called Forbidden Sky, which caused the fortress that had lost its light to begin to shine again. From his location, a vast wave of energy spread out, reaching a vast area in the sky that stretched for 100 kilometers where flying was prohibited. With this help, they no longer needed a god-level mage, and no special skills were required just to use that skill, because a formation master like him could use the formation method to create a vast forbidden area to fly. The energy from this spell continued to spread, enveloping all the dragon professionals present and stripping them of their ability to fly and removing their advantage of staying in the air that ordinary professionals could not reach. When it was overtaken, the dragon professionals present, where it would be impossible to escape from 100 kilometers, began to fall, and their wings did not move. They had no way to try to escape, and instead he pretended to face their opponent and just prepared themselves to fall to the ground. Despite this happening, the professional dragons were not nervous and instead began to laugh. Even though their pets and they themselves were falling from the sky, they were not bothered by their inability to fly, and were just telling them that they had been expecting this type of strategy for a long time, where people would try to prohibit them from flying in the air. They just waited for themselves to fall until they easily regained their balance and were now standing on the ground. After they reached the ground, they wasted no time and began to rush and run towards the fortress, where they were ready to fight and compete. There were several thousand soldiers from the Dragon Clan camp with their pets who began to rush towards the fortress, and behind them were archers, mages, and their healers. Their leaders gave orders not to be afraid and to continue their attack, because the defense of the human horde coming from their formation was broken, so all they had to do was kill those inside it. It had been several thousand years since they last set foot inside the Yuan battlefield, and the members of the Dragon Clan wanted to show their true power in that battle. They only have one mission, and that is to defeat the one person guarding it and successfully enter the Yuan battlefield. Every soldier of the Dragon Clan can be seen with the desire to kill in their eyes and want to prove themselves in the real battle that is coming. Lin Moyo, who is observing the movements of his opponents, can only say that it seems that their opponents number more than 10,000, where there are 800 groups consisting of 12 dragon professionals, and each group consists of 3 knights, 3 archers, 3 mages, and 3 healers. From what Lin Moyo can see, it seems that their composition when it comes to forming a group is a bit different compared to how professionals do it. With the help of 3 healers of each group, along with the very strong vitality of the members of the Dragon Clan, the ability of each group to fight and last in each battle becomes very strong, where they can maintain themselves for longer. They don't care when it comes to the profession of their members, but they only differ in strong and weak bloodlines that are different compared to them. While Lin Moyo was thinking, the dragons began to approach. To start their fight, Naijun raised his sword, which began to be an armor of light, where he released its latest state before their fight even began. To strengthen their camp and give their soldiers an advantage, he uses his morale boost skill. With the help of this skill, the fear that the soldiers feel is removed and their ability to fight is strengthened, and within 10 minutes their power when it comes to defense attack is increased by 30%. Now that each race and camp has been able to prepare, they are both ready to fight. The gates of the fortress are opened, and the first group of soldiers are coming out of the city, where they are ready to fight, while on the high walls of the fortress are also located the mages and archers of humanity. They aim their weapons and prepare their spells to release on the approaching enemies. They are just waiting for the signal from their leader. But as they observe the battle unfolding, they are shocked by what they see. They cannot believe what they are seeing, and they lose their focus on the battle because they do not understand what this man is doing and who he is. Those on top of the wall were wondering if that man was losing his mind and what he was trying to do by charging alone. They knew that that man would only die because on the other side was the Dragon Clan army consisting of thousands of members. So what could this monster do by charging alone without thinking? From the top of the wall where the leaders of the human camp were located, Lin Moyo was just defeated, leaving Jun and Zhang behind. He left and went straight outside the city and appeared in front of the human camp. From his jump from a high place, he landed right where the dragon professionals were and faced them all while the others watched him. They still couldn't understand what he was making a decision and just watched him. The soldiers who were there who served as the main defense against the dragon professionals were wondering why someone was ahead of them. Their eyes widened because they couldn't understand what this man was trying to do, especially since he was showing the arrogance of trying to push himself to his own death. They didn't know what he was trying to do because on the other side was the Dragon Clan, which consisted of so many members, so what could he do if he rushed alone? They all thought that the man was losing his mind, so some of the professionals behind him tried to convince him to go back, but he ignored them and continued walking. Jun, who was on top of the wall, had nothing to say and just shouted as he asked what this man was trying to do. He explained that before the third level of job evolution, it would be impossible for him to face and fight an entire army consisting of 10,000 members, no matter how powerful he was. He could only say that the man was really losing his mind, and he said that he needed to call Lin Moyo back. He was about to leave, but Jiang Chen suddenly approached him and put his arms in front of him to stop him from leaving. He didn't want to interfere with Lin Moyo and just told him that he didn't need to worry anymore and that he should just watch what would happen next. When he looked ahead, Jun's eyes started to widen because he couldn't see anything in front of him because so many skeletons were starting to appear around Lin Moyo. In others, he can only be found bringing out his Thanatos side, causing it to be covered in terrifying energy that spreads throughout the area. Along with his undead general, Lin Moyo also brings out his numerous skeletons from the shadows that appear from his space summon. He is surrounded by so many of his disciples that you would not believe the number. These numerous skeletons form their own ranks as if they were part of a hawkbuck. Jun and Jiang Chen, who are above, cannot believe what they are seeing because of the number of skeletons Lin Moyo has and realize that he also has his own army. Even the other professionals who were there speaking ill of Lin Moyo immediately close their mouths and are amazed by what he is showing now. A strong gust of wind pours into the Yuan battlefield, and the true number of Lin Moyo's skeletons can be seen, and even though their number is not as large as the Dragon Clans, they are not that powerful. When the Dragon professionals see Lin Moyo here, they immediately recognize him. They stop their attack and know that the army is what they call the Death Army, and they immediately know that they belong to Lin Moyo. They just inform their comrades that the Dragon King has issued a strict order where they must kill Lin Moyo, and if they succeed, they will receive advanced level dragon blood that will allow them to enter the ancestral dragon pool someday. Now that the members of the Dragon Clan have determined their priority mission, they return again to rush in and kill Lin Moyo as soon as possible according to their king's order. Their attention is focused and rushing towards Lin Moyo especially, and what he did within the Eternal Trials is passed on and heard by them in the Dragon World. Within the Dragon Clan, he is already on the list of those who must be killed if the members of the Dragon Clan see him. Despite this, Lin Moyo is not stupid and knows that he needs to protect himself and at the same time kill his enemies. He begins to surround himself with members of the Dragon Clan to form a formation to kill him. He is not afraid of this and knows that he cannot use his slokers to slow down his enemies, especially since the members of the Dragon Clan have high resistance against all types of curses, so they can easily remove them with the help of their healers. Lin Moyo decides to just use his poison star ring. From where Lin Moyo was standing, a green cloud of poison suddenly exploded and began to spread rapidly throughout the area. The Dragon Clan members present were immediately enveloped in it, and with the help of the poisonous mist, it carried the powerful poison element that the Dragon Clans would definitely not be able to withstand. A large number of them began to be poisoned, and one by one they began to scream out their feelings because it was so painful for them. They could not bear their feelings and warned others to be careful of this poisonous attack. Even though they were all above level 50, they couldn't help but notice the damage they were receiving from Lin Moyo, who had high attributes that were further enhanced by his talent, which they had to endure every second, but their vitality was rapidly decreasing. Due to the sudden poisoning of their group and the decrease in their HP, the Dragon Clan's healers were very busy. They had to heal all their members who had received damage because apart from removing the effects of the poison, they also had to heal the reduced vitality from their comrades. To give the healers time to heal their comrades, the Dragon Clan's mages and archers simply scattered. From their side came a multitude of arrows and spells that they cast to take action against the human camp. In an instant, the entire sky was filled with countless arrows and meteorites, all heading in Lin Moyo's direction. The professional people watching here could not believe the number of attacks coming towards them. They began to panic because they had no idea how to stop all this, and even if they managed to survive, they would surely receive a heavy price. They were nervous and sweating while doing nothing to counter all this. In front of them was Lin Moyo, who was fearlessly fighting and continuing what he had to do. His skeleton armor began to glow, appearing to protect him from the oncoming attacks. As arrows and meteorites approached his direction, he gave orders to his skeleton mages to fight back and use their own attacks. Lin Moyo's skeleton mages immediately prepared their elemental spells at once, their staffs becoming covered in various types of elements. They unleash it together towards the oncoming attacks where various elemental spells meet the arrows and spells from the Dragon Clan, preventing them from going in their direction. With the lightning, fire, and wind that go with its attacks, its direction changes. Despite what Lin Moyo did, other attacks are still able to hit the ground, causing it to cause severe damage. It spreads along the fortress wall and in the direction where Lin Moyo is located. The numerous meteorite spells and arrows were directed towards Lin Moyo, so the professionals present thought that it looked like it was the end of Lin Moyo. They couldn't believe what had happened and just watched all this happen without taking any action. They just said that Lin Moyo was too arrogant for what he did, and even though he had his own army of skeletons, it was still not enough to match the number of members of the Dragon Clan, and besides, his level was lower than all of them, so what could he do against 10,000 opponents? Despite this, the other professionals who were there noticed something, and their colleagues told them that this did not seem to be the situation for them because they now saw him still alive and standing in front of their fortress. A large number of Dragon Clan members were approaching them, only being prepared by Lin Moyo's skeleton warriors to face them. Despite the many attacks they received, they did not seem to be harmed. None of Lin Moyo's skeleton warriors die from the attacks and remain strong to face the oncoming Dragon Clan members. The professionals watching his fight are in disbelief and cannot understand how he does it. What they don't know is that Lin Moyo possesses a skill called life links. With the help of this, none of his skeletons die and spread the massive damage they receive to everyone they share. The damage they received was not that heavy, and to heal their wounds, the Undead general appeared, raising his weapon to use his skill called Legion Hill. From his weapon, a bright white light spread throughout the area to heal all the skeletons. Lin Moyo knew that he could not be stopped with the help of his skeleton army's life link, which was added to the healing they received from the Undead general. Lin Moyo felt that no one could defeat him because as long as the dragon professionals were incapable of killing all of his skeleton warriors at once in an instant, they would surely remain alive and immortal. The strategy of killing him to stop his skeletons would also not work, because that would only pass on the damage he would receive to them, and his skeleton armor was already worn out and could withstand so many attacks. Lin Moyo now knew what he needed to do after all his preparations, because he had to collect corpses to start his plan. The professionals present were left to continue watching and could not believe that he was able to survive all those attacks. In a battle between two races, they became mere spectators on the sidelines, letting one of their members fight. What should have been a bloody battle was avoided. From what he saw, he knew that their battle would only continue to result in a draw if his skeletons could not break through the formation of the Dragon Knights who were being continuously healed by their healers. Lin Moyo thought that it seemed that having a corpse for him to use in his corpse explosion could be the only solution to this. Suddenly, he was about to leave the Legion, but his colleagues received a notification informing them that their deputy Legion commander, Lin Moyo, was being voluntarily removed. When the professionals present saw this, they could not understand what this decision was, and they did not know what Lin Moyo was planning to do. Naijan, seeing this, could not think of a reason why Lin Moyo was leaving their Legion, which made him wonder what this man was trying to do. An idea suddenly entered his mind, and he could only guess that Lin Moyo might want to kill all the members of the Dragon Clan by himself. He didn't need to think about it too deeply, and the total military merit that could be obtained from the dragons in front of them could reach up to 20 million. He couldn't think of any other reason, and knew that if Lin Moyo could succeed, he would become a god general. Lin Moyo was just starting his purification and raised his hand to use the Primordial Rune mark. With the help of this skill, he can increase all his attributes and his skeletons by 200%, and all damage caused by his attacks will be given an additional 500%. With this decision, Lin Moyo only thinks that he is not a saint because he kills all these enemies together. But they will all share the military merits, and even if he receives a bonus, Lin Moyo still lacks, or maybe it is better for him to leave the Legion and take it all for himself. If he succeeds in his plan, he might even scare his master when he returns. As he strengthened, a blue light spread through his skeletons, making them more alive. His entire skeleton army was visibly strengthened, and in an instant they underwent a profound transformation. Their performance improved and their power increased greatly. The professional dragons who were watching their opponents' actions began to become anxious and felt a little afraid. They don't understand what's going on and how those simple skeletons can suddenly become so powerful. They have no idea what skill Lin Moyo used that gives him the ability to completely strengthen his skeletons. Despite this, they know that they can't disobey their king's orders, so they just give orders and tell their companions to ignore those skeletons and go straight to kill them. The dragon professionals who have already figured it out think that's the best plan for all of them, because if they can kill Lin Moyo, then naturally these skeletons will be the next to die. Lin Moyo won't let them succeed in their plan and lets the skeleton general come to him to protect him in case something happens. His skeleton warriors were already stunned, ready to fight, and just waiting for the order from Lin Moyo. He trusted in the power of his skeletons, which were now strengthened by his skill, and while the Dragon Clan could see them, they did not have any idea how to get through Lin Moyo's many skeletons to kill him. Their plan to prioritize this would be very difficult, especially with Lin Moyo's powerful skeletons surrounding him. In an instant, Lin Moyo's skeleton warriors moved so fast that they could not keep up with them. Now that Lin Moyo only needed a corpse to start his plan to use his corpse explosion, a skeleton warrior immediately appeared in front of a dragon knight using his rage strike skill. This attack was so fast and powerful. With the help of the many reinforcements it received, the skeleton warrior succeeded in killing it with just one blow of his sword. When Lin Moyo saw this, he was happy because he had finally completed his requirement and knew that now that he was able to get the first corpse, the end of their upcoming battle was set. He was now sure of what the future of the dragon professionals present would be, and that this would definitely be their end. Lin Moyo pointed his palm at his corpse, which he immediately got and used with his corpse explosion. This very fresh corpse would definitely have high vitality, and since the damage that could be caused by the corpse explosion was based on it, there would definitely be many more here, which is why Lin Moyo could only say that everything was over for them. His palms began to glow with red energy accompanied by his spirit. In an instant, red lights also emerged from inside the corpse of the dragon professional, which was just removed as its explosion from Lin Moyo's core expression would begin, causing the destruction of everything present.